Thank you very much, Claire, and hello to everybody. I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of the CW. This Thursday, 110,000 members of the CW who work for Royal Mail Group, that's Royal Mail and Postal Workers, will be balloted on industrial action. It's over, if those of you who've been following anything on social media, you'll know that there are various demands that the CW has made about the future of our rights in Royal Mail. We're making demands that the company actually give us decent pension rights, because they're going to clearly revise the pension scheme that currently exists, and we're very worried that we're going to end up with something much inferior. So that's one of our 4 pillars, as we're calling them. The second is that we're actually renewing our demands for a proper pay deal. They're mucking around about pay this year, and also for a shorter working week, which is one of our long-standing demands. And also we're looking for some commitments from the company to keep to collective agreements, especially around ensuring that we don't get a 2-tier workforce, and that after privatisation even, that the Royal Mail will not sell off any bits from the company. And the last but not least, 4th pillar, which probably affects most people in this country, is the way in which delivery services are organised. People have been probably seen some of the stuff we put out, the way they want to organise it. They want to make deliveries to your home even more random than they are now and later. It's a redesign of the work to save money, but actually it doesn't give people as customers what they want. So those are our 4 demands, and that's why we're balloting for industrial action. What happened is a decision was made at national executive level, and officers went out to work with reps about arguing for these 4 principles, and there's been gate meetings all over the last couple of weeks, leading to obviously the ballot that we're having now, and that's the substance of our emergency motion that's gone. So basically, watch this space. The ballot starts, I said, this Thursday, and we'll get the result on the 3rd of October. So we will need your solidarity. We are hopefully for a positive result. Worth noting, this is the first industrial action ballot, national industrial action ballot, that's happened since privatisation. So it's actually quite new for, I'm actually from the telecom side, for my postal colleagues to actually be in an industrial action situation where it's employer versus employee, where the government's not intervening directly as part of the employer. So that changes the character of things. And it's also the first ballot under the new, or a really big ballot under the new Trade Union Act, which, as you know, restricts people's rights to strike. We are very optimistic and hopeful that we're going to meet all the ridiculous hoops you have to run through that are even more absurd and ridiculous than they used to be. We're hopeful that we'll get a positive result, and that we'll be taking action to make sure that people who work for Royal Mail, and also the services that Royal Mail gives, actually meet what civilised and right and decent work and decent services. That's what we want. We're also the CW we always get hit by loads of things. We're also in a big review of the BT pension scheme. Both the Royal Mail and the BT pension scheme are 2 of the biggest pension schemes there are. Always a big issue for us, obviously, as union people pensions. There's deferred pay, and a lot of deferred pay, and people's security. And it always, your fingers glaze over, don't they, when you think billions of pounds here and billions of pounds there, and the capitalists always make it sound like it's going to end tomorrow because you owe 14 billion, when actually it all depends how you cut it. The reality is, with the way the market is, all pension funds, dependent as they are on our absurd financial system and our absurd capitalist system, can be seen to look like they're in deficit. And instead of actually trying to revise maybe the system in which it's organised or planned properly for the future, they'll turn around and take the money off the employees. And so we're going to be probably fighting on both fronts in the near future. So as I watch this space, support your postal person. What you could do, I was talking to one of my postal colleagues sitting in the conference, what can I say to people who couldn't do it at the meeting? And she said, just open the door and talk to your postal worker who delivers, and tell them that you support them. That's the least you can do. And obviously all the other ways in which that we can have support. So just to say that, obviously for us as a CW, that's really been a big issue that we brought to the Congress here today. The second big issue that we brought, actually sort of more general, we've very much got the view in the CW that we should have a new deal for workers. We feel that there's political and industrial space opening up for us to be much more assertive as a trade union movement. And partly because our union supports the shift to the left in the Labour leadership and the more bold policies that the Labour Party is putting forward. We think that's really important, creates a lot of space, but it also creates a lot of space for the trade union movement to assert trade union principles. And so we think that's really, really important. And that, again, we brought that to the agenda of conference. We've got a long-standing demand. Talked to Mark and Matt about this, they know about it. And we brought it here last year that we thought the TUC should actually have a national demonstration asserting trade union values, and we've restated that view that we think should be out there, talking that being backed up by deliverable action as well. And we've got the consensus and support from other people in other unions. Obviously, my public sector colleagues have a lot of immediate issues around the public sector pay cap, but we believe there are actually issues that affect all workers in the private and the public sector, quite similar in many ways, and that we should be going out there and making an argument for political trade union values, actually. You know, especially given we have a Labour leadership which supports a lot of trade union values. So just to say, those are the issues that we brought to Congress. I just wanted to make a couple of comments on the rest of the Congress agenda in terms of our philosophy and our approach. Just to say, I mean, you're going to be hearing from Debbie from the ASLEF Women's Committee about the motion they're putting forward that's going to be discussed in the equality section of the agenda, and also from Laura. And just to say, as CW, we support, it's controversial, but we support the demand for sex workers' rights and actually supporting working class solidarity for people who are sex workers, and also for the possibility of supporting the empowerment and organisation of sex workers. And so we support that policy. We're going to be hearing from them about it, but just to make that clear. And I wanted to pick up on something else that was said about, that Claire said about, there's been a lot of discussion on the Congress agenda about appealing to young people, appealing to people who are in insecure work. And it's all good stuff, all the policies around insecure work and precarious work. The TUC's identified there's 3 million people out there working in insecure contracts. But sort of slightly thinking about it outside the box, I think that everybody feels in their heart when you find out, you know, people are working, not knowing whether they're phoning up in the morning, whether they're going to get work or not, can't rely, can't plan on their work. Everybody feels, I think anybody, well, worker or not, you're going to feel from your heart that that's really bad. And so ethically you're going to want to be on those people's sides. But I think the issue around insecure work, especially for young people, actually has a resonance that goes far beyond that within the Labour movement. I think actually, although I speak as someone who's got a permanent job, a permanent pensionable job, get up at, well, I would have wasn't a trade union person, have to get up early in the morning to go out and mend a few phones. But actually, the conditions where I work, even in a unionised workplace, even in secure employment, so-called secure employment, everybody feels very insecure. The way in which modern management treat people in the workplace, the productivity pressures there are, the way that people are slung out because of pressures, people with disabilities. In fact, there are equality implications beyond that, but just the whole way that people feel they're treated at work, things are random, management are turning into robots, they don't treat people as human beings. I think in some ways the whole issue around the so-called gig economy, which there's lots of there's lots of spin about, actually the insecurity, the way in which we think this isn't how work should be organised, I think that's got a resonance way beyond the 3 million people who are working in that circumstance. And also, I think that it's really coming to it. I mean, you even saw the Archbishop of Canterbury, didn't you, talking about it might actually be good to have a new economic model for the country. I thought that was good. God is on our side. I know that God is on our side. 2 minutes to explain why God is on our side. But I mean, I'm trying to make a point more generally that I think that the values that the LRC stands for, the values of why we as a union support the LRC, around the fact that we believe in principles of public ownership, not private profit. We believe in the redistribution of wealth. We believe in a human social security system, not going to call it welfare, social security system, human social care, supporting our NHS, all those principles, and having an economy, a rich economy that can deliver on that. I think those ideas are a time who's come. We saw the result of the election, 2017, Labour putting forward bold policies, people believing in that, people wanting something different, and I think that's really important. To say 10 years on from the financial crash, 7 years on from Tory austerity, the scales are dropping off people's eyes, I think, a lot, not just us who come to meetings, I think people out there, and that's why they voted in their numbers for the Labour Party. And I think as we move forward on that, I think there's an agenda we probably all share, which we must remember that workers' rights are really central to achieving anything about a new economy. You want a new economic system, you've got to have a new settlement around workers' rights. It's something that we've not dealt with properly as Labour Party when we were in government, and we've got the opportunity to move forward now. Not just repeal the Trade Union Act, no. We want massive improvement in individual workers' rights. A right to strike, a proper right to strike, right to take solidarity action, and rights to organise in the workplace, so we can get a lot more unionised workplaces. And also the rights to collective bargaining, the excellent proposals from John Hendy and Keith Ewing around having a manifesto for labour law, so we can actually deliver for people at work as a trade union movement. Do what we want to do. And if you deliver, if you actually organise, as the bakers are, if you organise and you say you're going to deliver for people and you follow it through, that's how you get people to join trade unions. There's a crisis there, we need to deal with it, but we do that by fighting back. That's how we win, and that's how we get more people to join our trade union movement. Thanks.
Thanks, Maria.